Did you know that failing to update your will can cause just as many problems as not having one in the first place? If your life circumstances have changed, your old will might not work the way you think. Hi folks, and welcome back to Everything Estate Planning, where our goal is to make estate planning more straightforward and practical, giving you the tools you need to plan for the future with confidence. I'm Jim from Elm Legal Services, and today we're tackling an important issue. When should you update your will? Writing a will is an important step in life's journey, but it's not a once done task. Things change, often in ways we don't expect, and if your will doesn't keep up, it might not reflect your true wishes. An outdated will can lead to confusion, disputes, unexpected tax bills, or even legal challenges for your loved ones. That's why today we're diving into 5 key reasons why your will may need updating, so you can make sure it stays valid, relevant, and effective. Let's start with major life events. These are significant changes that can impact your estate and your wishes for its distribution. Updating your will after these events is absolutely essential. For example, getting married or entering a civil partnership in England and Wales automatically revokes any existing will, unless the will specifically states that it was made in contemplation of marriage. It will no longer be valid. To avoid any complications, it is important to write a new will as soon as possible after marriage or entering a civil partnership. Divorce or separation is another key event which warrants a review of your will. In England and Wales, divorce or dissolution, as it's referred to in the case of civil partnerships, does not revoke your will, but it does mean that any mention of your ex-spouse is treated as if they had passed away. This means they will no longer inherit anything and cannot act as an executor or trustee, whilst the rest of the will remains valid. However, if you are only separated and still legally married or in a civil partnership, your spouse may still inherit under your will. To prevent confusion, unintended outcomes, or disputes, it's best to update your will following a divorce or formal separation. Another important occasion that calls for a will review is welcoming a new family member, such as children or grandchildren. You may want to make specific provisions for their future, such as naming guardians for minor children or setting aside gifts or inheritances for them. And finally, if someone named in your will, such as a beneficiary or an executor, passes away, you will need to update your will to reflect new arrangements. This ensures there's no uncertainty about how your estate will be managed or distributed. As we see then, life events like these, whether they're joyful or difficult, are always a good reminder to revisit your estate plans and make sure everything is up to date. Now let's talk about changes to your finances. Your financial situation plays a key role in shaping your will, so it's important to keep it current if your assets change significantly. For example, if you've bought, sold, or inherited property, update your will to accurately reflect these changes. Neglecting to remove sold properties or include new acquisitions can create complications for your beneficiaries. Additionally, owning property might push your estate above the tax threshold, exposing it to a 40% inheritance tax. Revising your will allows you to consider tax-efficient strategies like gifting property, placing it in a trust, or transferring it to a spouse who is exempt from this tax. Likewise, when the value of your savings, shares, or investments change, adjust your will accordingly. Increases in asset value can lead to higher inheritance tax liabilities, potentially resulting in the 40% tax rate on amounts that exceed the exemption threshold. Next, if you start or sell a business, it's essential to update your will. These changes add complexity, and your will should reflect who will inherit your share of the business or its monetary value. Furthermore, if you start or currently own a business, it's equally important to create a business succession plan. While your will determines who inherits the business, the succession plan outlines how the business should operate or transition. This ensures a smooth transfer of sale, protects the business value, and minimises uncertainty. These types of financial changes can significantly impact your estate, so updating your will ensures your assets go where you intend. It's important to highlight that many tax-efficient planning methods have strict rules, and without proper guidance, you risk unexpected tax bills or legal issues. Seeking professional advice is always recommended to ensure your plans remain both effective and compliant. Relationships change over time, and it's important for your will to reflect these shifts. For example, if you've reconciled with someone or grown closer to a family member or friend, you might want to include them in your will, ensuring they're recognised in your estate plan. On the other hand, if you've had a falling out or someone is no longer a part of your life, you may want to remove them from your will to reflect your current wishes. Essentially, updating your will ensures that it remains aligned with your intentions. Laws and tax rules change over time, so it's important to ensure your will still follows the latest regulations. For instance, updates to inheritance tax thresholds or available reliefs can affect how much of your estate is taxed, potentially impacting the amount your beneficiaries receive. Similarly, changes to how certain assets such as pensions or trusts are treated under the law may also influence how your estate is distributed. Now, to keep up with these changes, it's wise to consult a legal professional. A solicitor or estate planner can ensure your will stays compliant with current laws, protecting your loved ones and reflecting your intentions accurately. Even if nothing major has changed in your life, it's a good idea to review your will every 3 to 5 years. Small changes like shifts in relationships, finances, or personal priorities can add up over time and make your will less relevant to your current wishes. For example, the people you originally chose as executors, trustees, or guardians may no longer be the right fit due to changes in their circumstances. Family situations could evolve, meaning certain parts of your will may no longer reflect what you want. Now that we've discussed why you might need to update your will, here are a couple of tips for doing it effectively. First of all, while you can use a codicil, which is a separate document for minor changes, it's not usually recommended. Codicils can create confusion or lead to disputes if there are multiple amendments or inconsistencies with the original will. Instead, drafting a new will is a better option. This way, all your instructions are in one clear, unified document, reducing the risk of misunderstandings and ensuring your wishes are accurately followed. Also, simply writing down changes and keeping them with your will not make them legally valid. Please always consult a professional to ensure your updates are properly executed and enforceable. Updating your will isn't just about keeping up with life's changes. It's about making sure your wishes are clear and legally enforceable so your loved ones are cared for the way you intended. By revisiting your will regularly and seeking professional advice when needed, you're taking an important step in protecting your legacy and ensuring peace of mind for yourself and your loved ones. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today. If you've got any questions or thoughts, we'd love to hear them in the comments below. Your feedback actually helps us improve and offer even more useful content. So if you found this video useful, please give that like button a friendly handshake, subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. Remember, a little planning today can make a big difference tomorrow. So until next time then, stay safe, stay informed and stay tuned.